The city of Yazd is one of the most beautiful and oldest cities in Iran, with a rich culture, unique architecture, and hospitable people. In this video, we will see a comprehensive summary of its features and architecture. Yazd is one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world, with a history of settlement dating back more than 3,000 years. During the Sasanian period, it was known as an important center of Zoroastrians, and even after the arrival of Islam, many Zoroastrians remained there. During the Islamic era, Yazd became a center of science, trade, and industry due to its special geographical location, away from wars and insecurity. Yazd is world famous for its desert architecture in windbreaks. In 2017, the historical fabric of Yazd was registered on the UNESCO World Heritage List. In the heart of the historical fabric, among the brick walls and arched arches, you will find cafes, each of which is a world of silence and tranquility. Among the aqueducts, windbreaks, and winding alleys, there is something that sits in the heart of every traveler, a genuine peace, as if your soul has found its home. As you can see in the video, this city is full of traditional houses and old restaurants that have been beautifully restored and are a good place to welcome tourists. The place of the 12 Imams is named after an inscription on the wall of the building that lists the names of the 12 Shiite Imams. This place was built in memory and respect of those great men, not as their tombs. This building is one of the first known examples of a dome house in Iran and is considered a valuable gem among Seljuk works in terms of history and architecture.
نه حالا برنامه تعدادشو بریم چی؟
Darye Bafi is one of the most beautiful and authentic arts of Yazd, an art that not only creates fabric, but also radiates the light, color, and faith of the desert people in its threads and weaves. Darye Bafi, also known as ikat or ikat in Yazd, is one of the ancient textile arts of Iran that has been popular in the city of Yazd for centuries. Fabrics woven using this method are famous for their wavy designs and bright colors. In fact, twill weaving is a type of weaving with pre-dyed threads. That is, the patterns on the fabric are formed not by printing, but in the warp and weft of the fabric itself. That is why each fabric is a unique work. No two pieces are exactly alike. The history of this art in Yazd dates back to the Safavid era and even earlier, about 300 years ago. At that time, this type of fabric was famous not only in Iran, but also in India, China, and Central Asia. Yazd, due to its location on the Silk Road, was a center of trade and exchange of culture and art. For this reason, the weaving of this type of fabric flourished and is still used today. Metal engraving is one of the noblest and most poetic Iranian arts, and in Yazd, it is as patient, delicate, and profound as its people themselves. Metal engraving in Yazd is a dialogue between man and metal. The rhythm of the hammer is a repetition of remembrance, and each pattern is a sign of the spirit of its creator. In the heart of the desert, where earth and fire mingle, the Yazdis create immortality and beauty from these two elements. Yazd Grand Mosque is one of the most magnificent and oldest mosques in Iran. Two tall blue minarets rise like two heavenly candles into the desert sky. The minarets, which are about 52 meters high, are among the tallest in Iran. The history of the mosque dates back more than 1,500 years. The Old Bazaar of Yazd flows like living arteries through the heart of this historic city, where the scent of spices and copper mingles with the sound of hammers and chants, and you can still feel the pulse of centuries of trade and life. The Old Bazaar of Yazd is like a living labyrinth. Narrow corridors, old chambers, the smell of spices, the sound of conversations. The Old Bazaar of Yazd is not just a place for shopping. It is a place where life exists. When you walk through its dark and bright corridors, you feel like you are walking through a wall of history. In its silence, you hear the sound of 1,000 years of life. In Iran, a carpet is not just a floor covering. It is a small world of Iranian life. In its design, earth and sky, garden and spring, faith and love are all woven together. When a carpet is spread in a house, it is as if the ground becomes sacred, the house becomes warm, and the soul becomes calm.
These wooden structures are used for mourning ceremonies for the third Imam of the Shiites. On the day of the ceremony, people from each neighborhood gather around the mosque early in the morning. The remembrances and laments begin, and the Sadat, or white elders, recite a special prayer. Then, with the call of O Hussein and O Abu Fazul, dozens of strong-hearted men grab the palm tree from under it and lift it together.
The Alexander Prison of Yazd is one of the most mysterious and ancient buildings in the city. According to most historians, this building was built about 700 years ago by Ziaiyeh al-Din Hussein Razi al-Din, one of the great scholars of Yazd. Originally, it was a school for teaching religious and philosophical sciences, and its original name is Ziaiyeh School.
Local legends say that Alexander the Great built a prison in this place during his conquest of Iran and imprisoned the city's elders there. Of course, this story is more legendary and symbolic than historical. However, the name Alexander's Prison stuck in people's minds because of the mysterious atmosphere of this place.
In the eyes of mystics, Askander's prison is not just a prison, but a symbol of the imprisonment of the body and the liberation of the soul. In many Sufi texts, Alexander is a symbol of wisdom and power, and the prison is a symbol of testing and knowledge. Perhaps this is why this building was, at its heart, a school for knowledge and thought, where the body is trapped in clay, but the soul flies in thought. This dome is made of raw bricks and mud mortar and has stood for centuries without the use of iron beams or metal structures. An astonishing example of the ingenuity of traditional desert engineers and architects. The height of the dome from the ground to the top of the dome, about 18 meters. The Lari House is one of the most magnificent and poetic historical houses in Yazd. This house belonged to the Lari family, a wealthy and merchant family who had migrated to Yazd from Laristan, Fars. They were well-known merchants of the Qajar era, trading in fabrics and exquisite goods. About 130 years ago, their house was not only a place to live, but also a symbol of prestige, culture, and Iranian taste.
This house is a collection of traditional spaces designed for living in the hot, dry desert climate. A house where wind, light, and silence play a vital role. Today, the Lari House is known as the Museum of Yazd's historical documents and manuscripts. Visitors can tour its rooms, decorations, and even its beautiful courtyard.
In the heart of the arid land of Yazd, where rain is a rare guest, the Zarch Qanat has been bringing life to the city for centuries, like an underground lifeline. The Zarch Qanat is one of the oldest Qanats in the world, dating back more than 3,000 years. According to archaeologists, its roots date back to the Achaemenid era, or even earlier, to the Median period. The total length of the Qanat is about 71 kilometers, making it the longest Qanat in the world. In Yazdi culture, digging a Qanat was a sacred act because every sip of its water was considered a blessing and provision from God. Amir Chakhmaq Square in Yazd is a 600-year-old historical square, the beating heart of the city, a symbol of faith and beauty, and a mirror of the culture of the desert people. In every brick and arch, the sound of prayer, the melody of the wind, and the echo of history can be heard. During the Timurid period, a noble and pious man named Amir Jalal al-Din Chakhmaq Shami, who was the ruler of Yazd, and his charitable wife ordered the construction of a large and public complex. Their goal was not just to build a building, but rather to create a place for people to pray and to love, a place where all classes of society could come together. And so it was that in the 9th century AH, about 600 years ago, 1437 AD, Amir Chakhmaq Square was formed, and to this day it shines like a jewel on the face of Yazd. This combination of simplicity and grandeur has led to Amir Chakhmaq Square being registered on the UNESCO World Heritage List as part of the historical fabric of Yazd. For the Yazdites, this square is more than just a square, a symbol of their city, a symbol of sustainability in the desert, and a sign of faith and empathy. This city is the capital of traditional Iranian sweets, and each of its sweets has a story and history. Yazdi Pashmak, light, sweet, and soft, sometimes topped with almond or hazelnut kernels. Rice bread, a delicate and fragrant bread with a base of rice flour, powdered sugar, and vegetable oil or butter. Kotab, a thin layer of dough with walnut or pistachio kernels and a top of powdered sugar. Yazdi baklava and baklava, with a special elegance, with almonds, pistachios, rose water, and sweet syrup. The Zoroastrian fire temple of Yazd is not only a religious site, but also a symbol of history, faith, and the permanence of Iranian culture in the heart of the desert. This fire temple has kept the spirit and soul of the Zoroastrians of Yazd alive for more than 1,000 years. The fire temple dates back more than 1,500 years, although some sources even dated back to the Sassanid era, 224 to 651 AD. The fire in this fire temple is a sacred and eternal fire that Zoroastrians believe has been burning since ancient times and has not been extinguished. This fire is known as Atash Bahram, and Zoroastrians consider it a symbol of purity and divine light.
What you see is a symbol of the Zoroastrian half-sin table, similar to the Iranian half-sin, but it has differences, both in terms of meaning and ritual, which show how culture and religion are intertwined. For Zoroastrians, the half-sin table is a symbol of light, purity, life, and positive energy, and its preparation is part of the Nowruz ceremony. This ceremony, or celebration, coincides with the beginning of spring and the Nowruz equinox, and its goal is the renewal of nature and human life. The number 7 is sacred in Zoroastrian culture, and the 7 elements on the table symbolize goodness, light, and life.
The Avesta is the most sacred religious text of the Zoroastrians and is considered to be the foundation of the Zoroastrian religion. The earliest parts of the Avesta date back to the 1st millennium BC. The Avesta consists of 5 main sections. 1. Hymns and prayers in praise of the gods and elements of nature. 2. Religious prayers and invocations. 3. Zoroastrian religious rituals and ceremonies. 4. Laws, moral precepts, and rituals of purity. 5. A collection of short prayers and teachings for everyday use.
Imamzadeh's Sayyid Jafar Sadiq is one of the important religious and historical places in Yazd, which is both a pilgrimage site and a historical and cultural attraction. The original building here dates back to the Safavid or early Qajar period, about 170 years ago. Over time, the building has been restored and renovated, showing a combination of traditional desert and Islamic architecture. Pilgrims believe that visiting this holy place brings spiritual peace, blessings, and salvation from problems.
Pwede ko pa ba yun? او شکست
ما میگه
این دومیه طرف
The city of windcatchers and fire temples. Yazd, where history and culture are like the desert breeze, calm but steady, inspiring every passerby.